Alright, hey guys, I'm back with another episode of just my random film reviews. I'm sorry this has been taking me so long to put out any new episodes, or of anything really, including Cinema Historia. Uh, the thing is that my latest film, The Children of Dead Roses, has been taking up so much time and so much effort that I haven't been able to get around to a lot of it, but I'm here with a couple more films that I watched recently for you, if you're interested. If you're not, then I don't know why you're watching this movie to begin with. What we have for this time is we've got Downfall, about Hitler's last days, starring the one and only Bruno Ganz, or Ganz, sorry. I'm terrible at pronouncing European names. And then the next movie I watched is the incredibly bad Deadline, starring Brittany Murphy and Thora Birch. I watched Deadline first, so we're going to get this thing out of the way really quick. This movie is really, really bad. And it sucks, too, because Brittany Murphy was such a great actress, and Thora Birch is a great actress, too. I mean, she was in Ghost World, and she was also in American Beauty. Then again, she was also in Dungeons & Dragons, too. So, the acting in this movie actually isn't all that bad. Or at least when it comes to Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy, I think, rarely turns in a really bad performance on any of the films that I've seen her in. I haven't seen all of her work, but the work I have seen has been really good. And also, at the same time, she is playing basically the same character she likes to get typecast in. Just a kind of like a somewhat frail character that's kind of just trying to escape it, but ends up getting involved in it anyway, just like she was when she was in Don't Say a Word with Michael Douglas. The one thing that really was bad about this movie is that the screenplay is unbelievably laughable. It is so cliched. Every single line almost had me chuckling because it is literally probably one of the most cliched scripts I've ever seen. But as where Scary Movie was doing it in a weird way, and Scream is doing it in a weird way to make fun of it, this one I think it was trying to genuinely be a real horror film, and it really just fell real flat on its face. Thora Birch, she's entertaining. I mean, she's decent in it. I mean, and also Marc Blucas is in this as well, and he has these scary moments and whatnot. But it's really, the movie's boring. I really wish I could have something to give you guys. It's just, Brittany Murphy plays a screenwriter trying to finish her next project in time, and also she's going through a lot of emotional turmoil because of a bad relationship, and also things in her life just seem to keep imploding inward. And she goes into a house in the middle of nowhere to try to write her book away from any contact. I don't even think she even has a phone in there, or at least a working phone. Or at least when the ghosts get to it, it's not a working phone anymore. But the thing is, it's unbelievably, it's like they try to rip some of Friday the 13th off and whatnot, and then just try to throw in a few bit elements of the House of the Devil, or even worse than that, just like the movie Flatline. But the thing is, Brittany Murphy is interesting to watch, but it's not enough to make me want to say that this movie is at least, worthy of watching. I mean, I paid a very small amount of money for this at a Blockbuster that was going out of business. The only reason I got it is because it has Brittany Murphy and Thora Birch on the cover. So if anyone runs across this movie, I mean, it's fun as a drinking game. Every single time someone screams, you can take a shot. But other than that, it's not really worth your time. The second movie I watched is actually insanely good, and that's Downfall. And Bruno Ganz, I love him. He's such a great actor. His best role besides this one was probably The Skies Over Berlin, or the American, or the English translation of that title is Wings of Desire. He does a great job in that movie. He also acts opposite Peter Falk, who unfortunately passed away recently. But, that's a great movie. You should definitely check it out if you like Bruno Ganz. But talking about this movie, he plays Adolf Hitler in the last days of his life in his bunker in Berlin, and how everything just seems to fall apart, and how also that his cabinet, like Himmler and Goebbels and whatnot, they're all starting to turn on him too, because they're seeing him falling apart, and they realize that they're fighting a losing battle, and they're trying to do as much as they can to get Hitler out of Berlin in order to keep the right going, keep the war going. But Hitler, he has this strange obsession with the fact that he's invincible. And that's an actual historical fact. He had a major God complex, but Bruno Ganz really delivers that well. It's insane how eerily close the portrayal of Hitler is that is played by Ganz. They have several actors in this also to play other major factors. I think they also have, I can't remember the actress who played Eva Braun, but she does a phenomenal job. Everyone does I think this is probably the most realistic World War II movie I have seen probably since Conspiracy with Stanley Tucci, Kenneth Branagh, and Colin Firth, all about the final solution. And I probably might actually get to reviewing that, hopefully. But the one thing that I really have to say about this movie, it was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Feature when it came out. I'm afraid I can't remember the actual year. But the thing is, what you really want to do when you look for this movie, and trust me, you really want to see this movie, this does not have dubbing. This is a German film. It is subtitled, and the people who have a real problem with subtitles, I really don't get what your deal is. But this movie, just because you don't necessarily like to read when you're watching a movie, is not a reason why you shouldn't see this. The performances are stunning. The realism, the attention to realism that was paid in every single aspect, including every facet of Hitler's bunker, and also of Berlin during that time when the Allies and the Russians were kind of like bombing it to smithereens. It's just it's more emotional than anything else. I think it's one of the more emotional stories about war that I've seen. And I think the one thing that really in my mind comes up with the emotional level that this portrays during the war is Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory with Kirk Douglas. And that movie was just unbelievably emotional, depressing film, and so is this one. The reason that this movie gets a lot of flack is because Bruno Ganz doesn't necessarily portray Hitler as like the bloodthirsty madman that we all come to know. He plays him much more like an actual person, and that actually makes his performance so much more real, but also so much more harder to sympathize, because he is playing Adolf Hitler of all people. And also, you try to the way the performances are played out, the way that the movie's directed, and the way that the movie is written out, you begin to sympathize with these people who in school were always taught, or at least in America, were always taught to villainize because of the horrible things that they did. And that's true, but people keep forgetting that they were still people with feelings, even if they were just like they did horrible things. It was just like the movie The Boy with the Striped Pajamas. That was a very emotional story involving a Nazi commander's family and their close proximity to a concentration camp. But to wrap everything up, when it comes down to these two movies, this movie I give maybe a half a star out of 5. Just because Brittany Murphy is interesting to watch, and it might have one or two jump scares that might have made me, shiver. I don't know. This thing was less scary than Paranormal Activity, and Paranormal Activity pretty much almost put me to sleep in the theater. And then this movie, Downfall, Bruno Ganz, seriously, if you guys, even if you don't like foreign films, if you guys are a big fan of war movies or just drama, actually, no, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If you guys are a fan of movies in general and you really don't have a problem with subtitles, then seriously pick up this copy, or I don't know if it's available on Netflix or not, but seriously, this is probably one of the best war movies I've probably ever seen. And that's saying a lot, because I've definitely seen a shit ton of war movies, but this is definitely one of the best ones. And also, if you like Bruno Ganz as Adolf Hitler, check out the rest of his filmography. He's an amazing actor. He's probably one of Germany's best actors. And also, definitely check out Wings of Desire, or the German title, The Skies Over Berlin. It's such a heartfelt movie. It was made in 1980, I believe. And he's just a wonder to watch. And actually, him acting opposite Peter Falk is a pretty amazing duo. So, this movie I definitely give, even though it doesn't have everything I like in it, but I definitely give this movie a good maybe 4.5 out of 5. Because it's just such a wonderful movie to watch.